Hello and welcome to another episode of the Peninsula Biz Buzz. My name is Shelley Smith. I'm here as one of your co-hosts, representing my own business, Premier Rapport, and a representative for the Chamber Liaison with Penn Sherm. Over to you, Bob.
Thanks, Shelley. Good morning. Bob McKenna here from the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. And on today's episode of Peninsula Biz Buzz, we have the Executive Director of Newport News Williamsburg Airport, Patrick Henry Field, Mike Giardino. Mike, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well, Bob. How are you
Good.
and Shelley?
We're okay. We're okay. Good to see a smile on your face.
Thank you.
Exactly.
We're going to get through this, right?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
We maybe have not seen worse in our lifetime, but we're going to keep moving forward. So that being said, let's take a look back real quick. So, and that's not always helpful, but I think maybe for today's episode, it'll be helpful. 2 months ago, talk about the great things that were going on my favorite airport. So let me just preface that by saying about 10 to 15 minutes from my house, we have this great little airport that I can pull into the parking lot, grab my bags, and be at the gate, not at the terminal, but at the gate in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I can fly to Atlanta, I can fly to Charlotte, I can fly to Philadelphia, maybe other places, but those three principally. And it's a great facility, a great staff. Talk about that a little bit, Mike. Where were you and where were you headed in the next year?
Well, we just finished 2019 up about 7% with fewer seats available. So in a market that hadn't seen growth, let's say in airplanes and seats available, we had fuller aircraft in 2019. So the demand is absolutely off the charts for this community. And we've known that. We leak a lot. We call it leakage. We leak a lot of folks to 5 different airports on a daily basis. And, so the demand is there for air travel, and our load factors, how full the aircraft are, proved it. We were in the 90% full or even greater at times. And even during the low portions of travel, January and February, we maintain our load factors very high, which means, when most folks are in school and hunkered down at work, and we're still flying on the peninsula. We've got high demand, and it's a great airport. It serves people well. Like you said, it's very convenient. The checkpoint, you're through in less than 5 minutes. Really, from curbside to cabin, you have a fabulous experience at this airport.
No, absolutely. I call it a boutique airport, but it's just, it's a good experience. I never get frustrated when I go to that airport. Okay, so all that being said, mid-March, the impacts of COVID-19 start being felt on the peninsula and everywhere else, but boom. What's your response? What's the airport's response? What are your major concerns?
Well, the first response, obviously, was the health and safety of the people in the building. And you know this, and I think the people in the community know this. It's one of the cleanest airports you'll ever find. It's one of the things that attracted me to the airport. We do a very good job, and the staff is fabulous at what they do. So we even stepped that up further, making sure that we provided the right environment for our passengers, because I don't think anybody knew what it was, where it was coming from, and how it could affect us. Secondly, obviously, once mid-March hit, activity almost stopped. We went from, again, those full airplanes, about 90% or greater, and I think we were having a fabulous March, by the way, up until about I want to say the 13th or 14th of March. And we went down to 10% load factors. So 10% of those aircraft were full, and some of those aircraft were canceled preemptively by the airlines, just as they would for weather or anything else, because people just weren't getting on airplanes at the time. And then later on, we're down to about 4% of the airplanes that we have, which now the schedule reads about 1/3 of the service that we're supposed to have. So we have 1/3 the service, and about 4% of those are full, or I mean, with 4% capacity. So in other words, 96% of the airplane is empty.
Mike, what are some of the things that for those that are still flying, that small percentage, what are some things that you can give them rest assured that you're doing in addition to? You started to allude to it, but maybe some specific things to add to the peace of mind.
Number one, Shelley, is the building itself. It is absolutely as clean as it can be. And so the environment that we're providing is the best we can. We did have to close down our food service. There's not enough traffic to have food and bar service. It's just too difficult to maintain that during this time. Of course, when things ramp up, we'll do that. Secondly, the TSA has taken extra precautions as well with their staff. So they're protecting their staff and they're protecting the passengers as well at the checkpoint, and they have procedures and protocols to take care of that. Lastly, the airlines are doing a spectacular job. They are communicating with their passengers. They're taking extra measures also to distance themselves, provide a clean environment, and ensure people they feel comfortable getting on an airplane, getting on and off an airplane. So we haven't seen any issues with that. And those are primarily the things that we're doing to make sure people feel comfortable. We're also letting them know we're here. When they're ready to fly, we're open. We have a federal mandate to remain open, and we are open. We're fully operational. I mean, Bob called us a little airport. I've got 2 runways. I've got more runways than a neighboring airport. And, you know, we take Air Force One, and we've taken an Antonov, one of the largest cargo planes. We can take any aircraft, aside from maybe a 777 or a 787 in the fleet. So we're ready when people are ready to fly.
I do have to note, I'm close to the airport as well. And so I've seen Air Force One actually coming in over the years, and it's really cool. So since you mentioned that, I had to say that is pretty cool to know that comes in. Back over to you, Bob.
So Mike, I know that you didn't take offense when I called it a boutique airport because I know about the runways and fantastic. It's just the terminal is, I don't want to say cute, but it's nice and it's manageable and it's efficient and it's friendly. So that's what I meant by boutique, I think.
It's concierge. It
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is concierge
Yes.
service in a commercial service airport. And we just don't have as many flights as we'd like, and we can take a lot more.
Okay, so moving forward, airline industry. Now, obviously, when you start talking about the panic surrounding COVID-19, the things, the spread places that everybody thinks of initially are airlines, right? Air travel, mass transit, big cities, things like that. So, how does the airline industry come back from this? And what are the impacts to you about a bailout or CARES Act funding for the airlines?
Okay, well, I've taken a look at 9/11 comeback and the comeback after the Great Recession. It took about 30 months for the industry to recover to let's say September 10th numbers, 2001, and it took 86 months for the Great Recession. Now, during that, airlines did consolidate. So there's a bit of a skew there that airlines got a clue, including one in our airport, and they consolidated to basically make more money and restrict the amount of seats in the market. And they were very successful at it up until, let's say, a month ago. So it takes a while for people to get comfortable and bounce back no matter what. This is new. So we don't know what a pandemic will do to the traveling public. Maybe masks are now available and people are wearing them routinely. I don't know the answer to that. There's a lot of fashionable masks being made, and maybe that's just the way we fly, or some people fly because that's what they feel comfortable doing. Again, I can assure everybody that we keep a clean environment and as safe an environment for our passengers and our employees as physically possible. With respect to CARES Act money, we will receive CARES Act money, and we need that CARES Act money. And if there's another round of CARES Act money, we will make a pitch for that as well for the airport. Our cash flow is negative at this moment, and it is severe. It is severe. We have no parking revenue. We have no car rental revenue, or very little of it, and we have very little airline revenue, and that's how we make our money. We are not sustained by tax dollars, local tax dollars, or anything like that. We are self-sustaining. This airport's been self-sustaining for a very long time, and we need that revenue stream or we cannot survive. And I expect that revenue stream to return when people start flying again. As far as the airlines and their CARES Act money, these things are being determined by Congress and US DOT. Everybody's making a pitch. The airlines are also bleeding cash, and they need to make decisions about consolidation and where they're going to fly out of. But I think they also know that the public wants to travel. They were traveling. Air service was never higher. And there is an ability to grow back. How quickly the bounce back will be yet to be determined.
Okay, so your principal airlines that fly are American and Delta, right? Is there any concern that they're going to consolidate somewhere else?
Well, the US DOT instructions for receiving of CARES Act money did allow that to happen. It was something that surprised us, but we've gotten a lot of congressional support. It's also happened in New England and around Cleveland. Akron, Canton was affected. Providence and Rhode Island and New Hampshire, Manchester, New Hampshire were affected by this. We've already seen the effects of it. JetBlue has consolidated to those markets or those airports where they can and allowed to via the act. Possibly that'll change. And we are very, very grateful to our congressional delegation because they got involved very early. Everyone, the entire congressional delegation on the peninsula, including the 2 senators in Virginia, got involved and wrote letters to US DOT. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? I don't know. I have no indication that it will. And we're a low-cost airline to the airport or to the airlines. We are also, our load factors are very high, like I said, which then for the same flights like to Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Charlotte that you mentioned, our yields, the profit that they make per flight, both American and Delta, are higher than our neighboring airports. So they make more money flying out of PHF. So it just makes good business sense to continue out of PHF.
Okay, great. I like to hear that. Is there anything the business community can do to help you moving forward, Mike?
Use PHF.
Use
your
this
local,
great airport that we have.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob. I'm sorry. Fly local. When you can, check us first. We're not that much more expensive on average, using the DOT statistics, $12 to $20 more per round trip. So please, if you can, fly out of PHF to get to where you're going. You can get anywhere in the world from our airport. It's just one stop away. So please check PHF first.
Mike, is there anything that you're hoping that...
So Mike, go ahead, Shelley.
Nope, go ahead.
So Mike, what I was going to say is you and I are both Navy veterans and retired, I think, the same day back in 2011. And the reason I bring this up was I've lived in Newport News off and on for the last 17 years. I commuted to Little Creek for 3 years and Dam Neck for 2 years from Newport News. I don't like to go through the tunnel that much, but I don't mind it. And Norfolk is a perfectly good airport, and I don't mind going there. But if I can go 10 minutes from my house to Patrick Henry Field, that's where I'm flying from. And I think there's a lot of people in our community who feel the same way. Shelley.
I can't agree with you more.
I was just going to ask Mike, is there anything else that you wanted to tell the viewers and the listeners, or something that maybe we didn't ask you that you were hoping that you would like to share before we put a wrap on today's podcast?
No, I think you covered it. I'll just reiterate. We're easy, we're convenient, we're friendly, we're close by, we're fast in and out. and we're inexpensive. We didn't say anything about parking and concessions and things like that, but the offerings are appropriate for an airport with the passenger traffic that we have, and the cost is low for our passengers, both in parking and at our concession. So we have a great restaurant. I have a great restaurant operator, and he's doing great. And it's a great environment. It's a wonderful environment. When I see the activity, let's say on our busiest days, and the hustle and bustle, it's something to behold, and it's something to be proud of.
Very nice. Well, thank you very much for being on today. And again, just to stress, fly local. Here in Newport News, we absolutely have a great airport. So thank you, Mike, and your team for keeping the airport clean. I do agree. It was always like that, and it's definitely something that that I visualize when I go in and always expect. So thank you for always doing that. So that's it for me today. Bob, back over to you for final closing comments.
Mike, thanks for being with us today. It's good seeing you, good talking to you. And I know your schedule is very busy. So thanks for giving us 15 or 20 minutes of your time this morning. And we look forward to recovery. I look forward to flying out of Patrick Henry Field again soon. All right, take care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.